10. It's fabulous.
It's a really pretty flannel quilt.
Oh my God.
You can see why these vines are divine. And then the leaves.
Quilt out loud, baby!
Quilt Out Loud is brought to you by That Patchwork Place, publisher of America's best-loved quilt books.
Aurifil Italian threads, perfectly suited for every quilt project.
Northcott, cottons that feel like silk.
And by Reliable Corporation, press like the pros.
Guidelines for quilting. Prepare for perfect piecing.
And Baby Lock for the love of sewing.
Welcome back to Quilt Out Loud. Today we're at the Burns Sewing Connection to talk about the ins and outs of fabric designing.
Cupcakes, today we have a segment that you're not going to want to miss. And it's about fabrics. How many times have you gone to your local fabric shop and it seems like all the fabrics have looked alike? Like, who determines these trends? And I want to know, are there copycats? It seems like there are copies everywhere of everything everybody does. I know you want to know about it, I want to know about it, and we have a couple of guests here today that know everything about everything when it comes to fabric.
That's right. This is Michelle Benchko from Cicada Studios. And also your co-partners in Cloud9 Fabrics. You designed for Henry Glass. Yes. And then Gail Kessler, who is the marketing director of Andover Fabrics, and she also designs for Andover Fabrics and owns Ladyfingers Studio in Pennsylvania. And of course, our most important guest is Rosie the Golden Retriever, who came along. She will add a lot, I'm sure.
Okay, listen, before we start the segment, I want to tell you something about Gail Kessler. You know, I have my own line of blenders called Elements for Northcott, which I love. But when push comes to shove, I love me some Andover Dimples. Dimples are the blender of the whole quilting industry, really. I mean, and when you see them, they're so distinctive and they're so beautiful and there's so many colors. But here's the thing. Gail Kessler's name is on the salvage of the blenders. But the truth is, Miss Gail Kessler didn't design those darn things. Who designed them? That dog, Rosie.
Right here.
Really?
Yes, this is Rosie. And she's
Say
the first.
hi, Rose.
Say hi, Rosie. She's the first.
Hold up a dog.
First canine fabric designer in the world. So we think we're pretty
That's
sure.
right.
Yeah. What happened was I was designing a collection called Quilter's Paradise a few seasons ago, and I was looking for the blender for the collection, something that acts as a solid that we all need when we're making quilts. And I just had a block. I wanted to do something other than the normal marble or texture or splotch. And I just couldn't come up with anything right away. And Rosie's a very tidy dog, and in my studio, she found one of my husband's shags, which is an old golf ball, and she just brought it over to me because she can't stand to have anything on the floor. And I picked it up, and I went, That's it.
Isn't it amazing? The blenders,
So you never know where your inspiration's
the
going to
dimples, and you know, when you look at it, you can see golf balls.
It's
but
there,
when
it's obvious
But you didn't
now.
know it before, and I think
Yeah.
that's a great story. Gail, you are a quilt shop owner as well as a designer.
Yes.
And one of the things that I notice is that each store has their own personality. But I have found lately that when I go into shops, and whether it's high-end shops or low-end shops, that it seems like all the fabrics start looking alike. The colors are all the same, the fabrics, the scale is all the same. Can you give me some insight on that?
Well, I think it might have a little bit to do with if you're traveling and you see the different stores, it depends on the personality of the shop owner, the personality of the buyer, and what she feels she can sell. Right. So if she's reading and seeing the trends are to be all purple and pink and great big loud prints, yeah, that's what gets the ball rolling.
Who determines the trends? Is that up to you? Is that up to you as designers, or is it somebody up there who designs it? Because all of a sudden there's like brown and pink combinations, lime and brown combinations. Who designs
Well, color trend is a little bit different than the pattern trend. They're one and the same in the end, but I mean, I think there's two different perspectives when you're designing things. When I design, I don't always look at the trends, but I'm aware of them. And you know, like the big thing that I usually bring up, because I think I have a bird in every single collection I do, is birds. You know, everybody likes a bird. And they trend high. Everybody wants.
Especially when you're driving.
You know, but you do want to give people what they're looking for at the same time. So if people are still interested in birds, you're going to continue to do birds.
Now, I'm sure as fabric designers, because I know even with mine, I've only had 4 lines that I've already been knocked off. I'm sure you've been knocked off. Have ya? Come on. Come on.
I wouldn't say it's knocked off exactly. I don't think somebody will take a collection that I did and do a copycat, outright copycat. But honestly, the presidents of the fabric companies listen to their sales reps and before the next design meeting, and they see the numbers, they see what sells. And that preempts what we're supposed to do as fabric designers. They're going to say, hey, we need this, this is selling, do this, but do it differently. And so
is
if
it
you
like-
want to keep your job, you
Yeah,
have to you have to listen. You have to follow your own voice, and you have to do what you want your name to be on.
Right.
But you also have to listen to what's selling.
It
And
needs to sell.
but you have to switch it up. You have to continue to evolve it, and that's what keeps it going.
Well, that's like why we have so many reality shows.
Right.
Because they sell.
It works.
Right.
It works.
It is all about what is selling right now.
So what
And that's what we
constitutes
do.
a knockoff then? I mean, you have to make
Wow.
it different somewhat. So how
You know,
do you
it's not always an exclusive knockoff. I mean, when you take one print and you knock it off, or you do your own spin on a chili pepper, it's just one print, but you still have to merchandise it within a collection. So,
Oh, okay,
you know, so they did chili peppers and a bottle of Tabasco sauce. Well, we did chili peppers and a polka dot. You know, like it depends on what you really want to couple it with, and you create your own spin, but it's something recognizable that your customer is going to want to
I'll
see
take
in
the polka dot
store.
because I don't want Tabasco down there. Listen, now, Gail, when you start to design, I want to ask you a question. How does your quilting, like, does the consumer actually influence you in terms of your design, or are there like focus groups that say this is going to sell, or is it just simply based on the head of the company or somebody like you who's a design guru?
I have an inspiration wherever that may come from because of my lifestyle. I live in New York part of the time, and I live in Pennsylvania on a farm part of the time. So there'll be a catalyst for the main print or the main theme of a given collection. Like Beautiful Voices started off as a music theme. A couple of seasons ago, I did a group called Beautiful Music, which started off with an orchestra print. I just saw in the marketplace there didn't seem to be any really cool music fabric out there other than the normal old notes and this and that. So I thought a life-size keyboard, like a piano keyboard, would be really fun to use as a border. And then I thought, I know, a continuous orchestra pit, because so many kids are involved in music, orchestra, band, and what have you.
And then you did a marching band.
And then I did the marching band,
Oh.
and now I have Beautiful Voices, which is choir. So because so many people are involved in
Beautiful
music.
Voices as well, isn't it?
That's our free pattern download from Andover. It's going up on the web probably tonight or tomorrow.
I love it. It's been very popular for you, hasn't it?
It has. It's done really
Popular
well.
as the birds, huh, baby?
Yeah. So that's one way that I get inspired and then continue a grouping, a collection that builds on itself.
Now, Michelle, do you go to quilt shops and ask the quilt shop owners like what they want? Do you do that? Have you ever done that, or is it
No.
just kind of this visceral thing?
No, yeah, I know. This is probably one of the first quilt shops I've been in, to be quite honest. And
This isn't a quilt shop.
It's a sewing center. Lucky for her.
see how educated I am? I am so isolated. I really am. I design fabric. You know, it's like I knew my market when I was in the garment industry, and I was extremely isolated in that little pocket, and then I left that and I started doing my own thing. So when I do what I do for Cicada Studio, Cloud9 Fabrics, or Henry Glass, it all comes from me. I don't get direction from anybody.
Now that reminds me of something that is, I get a lot of complaints about it for the magazine, especially because we have such a lead time, and that is, why do the fabric companies stop printing the line so quickly?
Right.
By the time the magazine comes out, people go to buy the fabric's gone. Or if you really love a fabric and you want to go back, or you see it at your show and tell at your guild and you go back, all of a sudden it's gone. Why is
Big
that?
complaint, huge complaint.
Huge complaint. What do you think?
Well, I know, as is the case with the Henry Glass fabric, they, even actually with our Cloud9 fabric, which will probably sell out, and then, by the time people start seeing it, they're going to wonder where they can get it. They do the minimum run, and it could be like 3,000 yards, and translate that into amount of 15-yard bolts, and then you give samples away, and then, you've got this finite amount of inventory, and by the time the magazines get it, it's about the same time that it's about to land here. So
Yeah.
it's going to be shipped shortly after the magazines get it.
Sometimes. I don't know if that's always the case, because even with me, Gail, with my Califine line, for instance, they reprinted it 6 times, and it was still gone by the time the magazines came out. So what do you do?
Well, we've been trying to close that gap. I work closely with many of the magazines, and I actually design quilts before the fabric is even printed. So we have everything all lined up to close that gap so that when the fabric does start shipping to the stores, that's about the same time the magazines are going to break. And I know the schedule, and we do the best we can. But remember, folks, it's all based on sales. Right. The manufacturers want to sell fabric. They want to sell fabric to you, and they want to sell a lot of it. They are going to continue to print a collection as long as it is selling. If the collection is not selling, if the sales slow down, why would they print more?
I understand
it makes
but
no
I,
sense.
Okay, I don't want to put you on the spot.
And not because of, and they can't keep printing something for one magazine article. I'm sorry, it just won't support a whole printing.
Well, I have a question. As a designer, is there some kind of a formula? Like there are these collections of fabric, so is there a formula that you use when you design fabric?
Yeah, like why are some 20 pieces and some are, you
then
know, 60
colorways.
pieces?
You have the design, then you have the colorways. There's all these different.
Well, when I designed my first collection dogwood, there were 21 prints in there, and this was the first quilt collection I have ever designed, period. It was like an opportunity to work with Henry Glass, and they taught me their ropes, in a sense. And so I had to take that information, which was different than the way I was used to working, but you know, you needed, you're calling them blenders. I don't even know that term. Like we aren't, we're not,
Will
you know,
teacher.
we're not talking.
Will teacher.
You know, they called them semi-solids or something to that degree, you know, and I needed like tonal patterns, and I needed larger scale patterns, and I needed smaller scale patterns, and you have to kind of create this overall effect. And I got that. I did get that. But when I saw 21 patterns, I was overwhelmed. Even I was overwhelmed, because I'm like, who's going to do something with all these patterns? I mean, and that's what you get when you put them all together. I mean, it's a lot. And I know that a shop can't buy all of that. So what has been going on with my relationship with Henry Glass is we're actually narrowing my selection seasonally. So, I mean, my next collection was only 18 patterns. I only did 2 colorways. After that, I'm only going to be doing maybe 5 patterns, 2 colorways, because I really want to make it concise.
Yes.
So.
Well, I think we've learned a lot about a lot of the fabric here today, and you know, a lot of the process, but we have so much more to learn. Like, how do you get started in this business if you have a fabric idea? Or what's the favorite design rule to break? And most importantly, and listen, dudes, I'm holding your feet to the fire. Do I wash my damn fabric or don't I? No. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Jody Davis, co-host of QuiltOutLoud.com and president of QNNTV.com. I want to tell you about a terrific website called QuiltersClubOfAmerica.com. It's the club designed by quilters for quilters. If you love all things quilting, then this is definitely the place you'll want to check out again and again. You can join the free community. Check out the Quilt Out Loud forum. Or if you're a QNNTV.com member, you can upgrade to the club for a very low price. Just visit us at QuiltersClubOfAmerica.com or give us a call at 888-253-0203 to upgrade your QNNTV.com membership. Again, that's 888-253-0203. QuiltersClubOfAmerica.com. We look forward to seeing you there. Welcome back to Quilt Out Loud. We're here with Gail Kessler and Michelle Benchko talking about our favorite subject, fabric.
Oh yeah, baby.
Now, I want to ask you, Michelle, when do you break the rules? What's your favorite rule to break?
I think as far as working with Henry Glass, because when I work for myself, I have no rules. I
Right.
can do whatever
So you have
I
no
want.
design
That's
rules.
Right.
One of the
I
beauties
I
of
do
working
what
for
I
yourself.
want. And I was working with Henry Glass when I first presented my first collection idea to them. They just looked at it and said, there is way too much white. And I thought that was a very interesting thing to say because I'm very drawn to white. And I see white in quilts all the time. And then, you know, I had to kind of temper my white usage. And I was like very bummed because I really like the way it plays with color. And when I did my own line, it's a lot of white.
Do you have any design rules that you break?
I don't know. I
quilting?
don't really think about it in terms of rules to break or not. I just design what I feel is going to sell and that I personally like and I fall in love with and all that stuff. But in my world as marketing director, I design many of the quilts that are used for magazines and so on and so forth. They're free pattern downloads and such.
And you've had hundreds.
I've had quite a few.
Yeah.
And this particular quilt beside you,
Which
which
is
was
a
designed,
beauty.
thank
It
you,
is.
designed by Nancy Murdy. It's her Country Blessings pattern, and I was itching to do this quilt. And oh no, guess what I did? I used fabrics from different collections.
Oh,
In
the
what-
cardinal sin. Now, I want to ask you a question. You know, we're living in this ecologically kind of green kind of consciousness right now, and there's a real trend in batting. You know, there's the bamboo batting, and then there's the batting made from the old soda bottles, and then there's the batting that's made out of the old tires, and then there's the batting made out of your grandmother's old slips, and then, there seems to be a trend away from cotton. And do you think that trend is going to continue with quilting fabrics?
As long as the batting sells, they'll keep making it. You
I
know,
understand
and
the batting, but do
that's-
you think we're going to get to a
Oh,
point
to
where
put-
we're actually going to start doing some really organic, because you do have
Bamboo
an organic
fabric?
cotton, but do you think we're going to move more in that
I
direction?
hope so.
Yeah,
I
I think
hope
it's
so.
a hope. I think it's important that we offer it, and
Right.
this is what Cloud9 is all about. We're just giving another selection. It's very pattern driven. You kind of have to like what I do and maybe be drawn to the organic. It costs more, so.
It costs almost double.
Yeah, so, but that is the cost of organic cotton, and it's just because the regular cotton is so processed and the price has been driven down because of all that pricing,
Or the
processing.
processing.
Is there a benefit to quilters to use the organic cotton fabric?
Does it feel different when you're like, does it feel different when
sew
you're
differently?
so differently?
I don't.
doesn't feel different.
I
What
don't
do you
think
think?
so. I mean,
Okay.
it's just woven fabric.
a
Like
soft
it's a
hand.
soft
Yeah.
hand. It's
Because
I
there's
don't
no
have a
finish
lot
on
of
it
ink coverage, so it's not
that
going
makes
to
it
be stiff.
Stiff, right?
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons I gravitate towards
Oh.
white too. A lot of times is because you're just using less pigments, and that's just it's a cleaner.
Right.
It's just cleaner.
Now, Michelle,
so-
you are Miss. I do what I want. But Gail, you.
Wait a minute.
No, I'm telling you, on the other hand, are a design director for a major company.
No, I'm not. I'm the marketing director.
The
We
marketing
have- we
director.
have
All
a
right,
design
but you
director.
have
Kathy.
pull. I mean, listen,
She
you go
has
in and say, listen, I
pull.
want to
She
tell you that
does,
you have
yes.
pull. I'm going to ask you, what's the best course for someone who wants to design fabric, if they think they want to design fabric? How do you approach a manufacturer? How do you convince them to, like, please do me?
Well, we get a lot of requests every week. I get dozens and dozens of people who want to design fabric for our company, and the first question I usually ask them is, "Are you famous?"
What makes a person famous?
Well, what makes a person famous? Are you a known name in the quilting industry? Do you travel and teach? Do you publish books? Do you have a pattern company? How well known are you? Are you published in the magazines? Do you have a huge blog going?
So that makes a difference.
It makes
Sure,
every
got an
difference.
audience.
Listen, we can crank out house groups all day long. We don't need more design sources. We have plenty of that. There's design studios all over Manhattan. We have plenty of really good designers. The name on the selvage has to mean something, unless you are so incredibly talented that you have this portfolio that absolutely blows me away.
And how often do you see something like
Once
that?
in a while.
You do, still.
Just enough to keep you calling me. But seriously, the fame factor really makes a difference. And even though you might be talented, you have some really good lines, really good ideas.
You need to get off your duff. You
I
need to
need
get off
you
your
to
duff.
get out there and get your name known and get out and travel and teach, because then I know that you're going to help market the fabric, and that's a very
That's it.
important
It's
thing.
all about the marketing.
Right.
It's all about the visibility.
Yeah.
Right, did you have to deal with that fame factor? Because you,
Well, yeah, I mean,
have
I
any,
didn't,
did you?
no, I was very small when I started, but I did have a relationship with Henry Glass beforehand, so that, like, they had faith in me. And I did come in there with, like, you know, the determination to market for myself.
Right.
Because I do have a successful blog, and I have a shop on Etsy where I've been selling my own fabrics.
oh, that's a great site, by the way,
yeah,
Etsy.
Yeah, no, and it's been wonderful. And so I have a little following of my own, which really helped kickstart this.
Do I
Pre-wash
wash
or not?
or do I not wash? Or do I pre-wash my fabrics or do I not? Are the modern fabrics still running?
Well, I haven't had a problem in the 8 years that I've been working for this company with any. I haven't pre-washed a darn thing because I don't have time.
All right, but what about in your shop? Because you carry
in
other
my
lines
store,
in your
other
shop.
lines, I really haven't heard too much of anything. The deal is buy quality fabric that's finished properly, and you shouldn't have a problem. It's good to test if you have really dark, deep, rich jewel tones, deep dark reds and purples. Might leach out a little bit of excess dye stuffs, but it won't stick to anything else. So you know the deal. You pre-wash if you want to, if you feel that if you're making a dark purple and stark white quilt, guess
Oh,
what?
yeah.
I think
Oh,
I'd,
yeah.
I'd consider
Right.
being careful about that and testing the purple. But you don't need to boil the fabric. You don't need to throw 3 cups of vinegar in the laundry. You don't.
No, that's
You
been
don't
done.
use.
The
You
mill's
don't
finished,
use
but
soap.
Part of the
You
process.
just rinse the fabric, and honestly, I haven't had a problem. But I can't.
Really?
Who knows with all the other I can't vouch for all the other
I
companies.
don't have a problem. I have once had a problem with the red.
I've never had a problem. First of all, I never sew with it anyway. I just buy it.
Well, thank you, Gail and Michelle, for coming.
Thank you.
We learned a lot. And you can find out more about Gail and Michelle by going to quiltoutloud.com and going to the episode notes. And we will see you next week with more.
Quilt Out Loud, we have 2 new segments next week. And
That's
don't
right.
forget, while you're just sitting there filing your nails waiting for them to happen, because I know you're there with bated breath, and you're at your computer, make sure you go to Facebook and go to Jody Davis, see Mark Lipinski. We'll be your friends, right? Well, you can
That's
also
right.
go to the Quilt Out Loud on Facebook. You can also go to Mark's Posse. You can also go to quiltershomemag.com to say hello, and we'll answer all your emails. Well, Jody will, you know, I'm just too busy. Anyway, bye everybody.